Hello and welcome to the Craft Witch Corner, where I yap and craft. My name is Dex and my pronouns are he, they. Today's video is very anxiety-inducing for me to film. I am honestly currently having an anxiety attack, but I am persevering. I have some rose tea here and various bits and bobs to help with my anxiety and dissociation and all of that. I am just feeling very anxious and trying my best to be strong, confident, and brave. Like I said, this is going to be very vulnerable for me. I ask that you just be kind and gentle in the comments. I am going to upfront set the boundary that anyone who is being an a-hole or saying disrespectful stuff will be blocked and your comments will be deleted. I have a zero tolerance policy for that, so please be respectful. Despite the fear, I do feel very confident that it is incredibly important for me to talk about this openly. Obviously, you've read the title, I assume, and you know that this is about me being an OSDD 1B system. Now, if you don't know what that means, I have some videos linked in the description describing DID as well as OSDD 1B and the differences between those. This is not that kind of educational video, so if you have absolutely no idea what these things mean, go ahead and watch those videos and then come back and you'll be ready to hear the rest of what I have to say. Like I said, I'm feeling very anxious and this is very vulnerable and difficult to talk about, not just as somebody who's anxious, but specifically as a system. One of the big things is that you try consciously and subconsciously to do everything you can to not have anyone find out or figure out that you're a system, and your brain is also basically gaslighting you and trying to make you believe that you're not a system. So it's very, very hard to talk about, and it has taken me a long time to be able to talk about it at all. This is very hard, and I'm doing my best. I do feel that regardless of the anxiety that I am feeling at the moment, this is my role to play in the effort to destigmatize DID and OSDD. It's not my fault that this happened to me. It's not anyone's fault that they have a dissociative disorder. It is a trauma disorder, and it is something that quite literally happened to me because of other people and situations that I found myself in as a child. It is not my fault, and if you're a system out there, it is not your fault. And it sucks that we are the ones that often get demonized and put in positions where people think that we are monsters, or that something is terribly wrong with us, or we're demon-possessed, or all of these horrific and incredibly untrue things. It really sucks. It puts you in such a shitty place and in such a shitty position in your mental health and in your physical safety. It just is horrible. I know a lot of systems who have lost family because of finding out that they were a system and telling their family, who should be a safe space, but instead they are not, and it sucks. Before I really get deeper into the OSDD 1B stuff, I did want to say I do also have many other mental illnesses. In the future, I will probably talk about those and how those impact and play into my practice, and also what I do in my practice to help deal with them, because it is definitely a big part of my practice. My mental health plays a very big role in my practice, which is one of the leading reasons why I am talking about it, despite it being terrifying. This channel is about my very personal practice, and my mental health plays a very big role in my practice and how I move through it. What I do, the spells that I choose to do, and the rituals, and how I spend my time. Some of the other things that I deal with is I have various anxiety disorders, including agoraphobia, panic disorder, and OCD. I also have depression, PMDD, and obviously, of course, CPTSD. And finally, I am also autistic and have ADHD. So as you can see, my mental health situation is very complicated. There's a lot to it, and I'm doing the best that I can. General trigger warning for talk of mental illness and trauma. I will not now or ever be getting into the details of my trauma. However, just a general blanket, there will be talk of trauma, not just in this video, but in the future as I talk more about being a system, because cornerstone of being a system is trauma. That's how it happens. So if those are not topics that are safe or comfortable for you to hear or discuss, this is probably not going to be the channel for you, and this is certainly not going to be the video for you. So I would recommend finding something else, and I wish you the best. Before I get too much further into it, I'm going to talk about some boundaries that I have. If you are a bully or an asshole, or if you fake claim me or anyone else in the comments, you will be blocked and your comments will be deleted. I have a zero tolerance policy for bullying and shit like that. This is a safe space not only for me and my system, but for any other system or people who come across this channel, and I will uphold that safe space. So if you violate that safe space, you will be removed. That's pretty much the boundaries. You are free and clear to ask any kind of questions you have. As long as you approach it with respect and kindness, you can ask any question. You don't know what you don't know. However, if something is crossing a boundary or not something you ask somebody who's a system or anything like that, no issues. I will not judge or shame you, and I will not be mean to you. I will just politely tell you that that is not something I'm comfortable sharing, or that that is not something that you should be asking systems. It is not in any way meant to hurt your feelings or attack you or make you feel bad for asking something. You are allowed to be curious and you're allowed to ask questions. I will just let you know if something isn't something I'm comfortable answering. So ask any question you have and I will answer to the best of my ability when I'm comfortable. Since the time that I started this channel, I have gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth about whether or not I wanted to talk about this, because it's complicated. People online are mean and people say and do disrespectful shit. I have enough trauma for a lifetime, and I do not want my system to be traumatized again by people reacting poorly or treating me poorly or coming after me for being a system. However, I have finally decided to just be brave and do it anyways, because I realized it was kind of the whole point of starting this channel. The reason that I wanted to do this in the first place was to give people like me the opportunity to see someone who is like them, whether that be another fat person or another system or another neurodivergent witch, or just insert all of the things that I am that are on the outskirts. For all of those reasons, I wanted to be brave, and I just wanted to realign with my initial intention for this channel, but also with my whole life's purpose, honestly. I have known for a while now that my whole life's purpose is honestly to be the person like me who shows people like me that you are allowed to be. That you don't have to hide, that you can be proud of who you are and love yourself and be happy and live loud and proud. Like, I want to be the trans person that other trans people see and go, wow, that guy is so happy and living such a wonderful life and isn't letting being trans hold him back in any way or make him feel bad about himself. I want to be the neurodivergent person practicing witchcraft in a very neurodivergent way that helps inspire other neurodivergent witches to customize their practice to what actually works for them and not just do what people tell them to. I want to be the system that is okay with being a system and having a good life and living a functional life, functional enough. Let's be real, there are issues that I'm working on, but functional enough. There are many struggles that I face as a system. Don't get me wrong, but I still lead a life worth living, and that is something that a lot of systems don't have. And that breaks my fucking heart. Even just 4 years ago, I was not in a place where I was happy to be alive. It was very hard to not end my life, and I say that with absolute sincerity. Not all of that was to do with being a system, but some of it was, especially because I was still in denial at the time and afraid and didn't understand what was wrong with me, what was going on, and it was very painful and scary. Now that I have gotten to the point where I do not have all of the answers about my system or about being a system, but I have found a comfortability in not having all the answers and being able to trust my other parts, that we all are in this together and that we will do our jobs. Just that alone has created such a difference in me. This is such a long tangent, but I feel like it's important to talk about. Right, I remember why I was talking about that. At the end of the day, I want to be able to show other systems, and particularly other systems that practice witchcraft or some form of magic or alternative spirituality, that not only is it absolutely possible to safely do so, but also that you can absolutely have a life worth living. You can absolutely find a place where you are stable and functional. You can absolutely have and maintain a long-term romantic relationship. You can absolutely have and maintain good relationships with friends and family that are safe, to be clear, that are safe. You can work through trauma and you can come to a healthier, safer, and more stable place. I am by no means perfect. I am by no means at the end of my healing journey. I am very much in the middle of it. But I really, really want to spread that message that just because you're a system, that doesn't mean life is always going to suck. And that doesn't mean that you cannot create a stable, happy, and safe life. It's really hard when you're still in the thick of trauma to see that and to understand that and to really feel that, and trust me, I have been there. On the other side, it is much better, and I absolutely believe that you can get there. Another reason that I finally decided it's time to talk about this is because I want to be strong, confident, and brave like my goddess Freya. And I want to be a safe space for the outcasts like my god Loki. I feel like this is a really big step in the direction of fulfilling both of those and being more like the gods that I so sincerely love and admire and appreciate. So here we are, and I'm going to be talking about it. I don't know how much it will come up, but likely it will be just sprinkled throughout videos, referenced in different things. There's been multiple videos already where I've had to cut parts out where another altar popped in and said something about being a system, and then I was like, oh, we're not talking about that yet. So now I will likely be keeping all of those little parts and pieces in, as well as talking about how I navigate certain difficulties that I face as a system in my mundane life using witchcraft, and how I navigate unique problems as a system in witchcraft through therapy and, different things, how I stay sane and safe in a spiritual practice, and also making it very abundantly clear that you absolutely 100,000 million billion gajillion % can be a system and safely practice witchcraft, magic, or any alternative spirituality. It is absolutely ableist to think that just because you're a system, that means you automatically can't safely practice these things. It is important to, with any mental health situation, and just for any person, no matter what, it is very, very important for you to take things slow and go at your own pace and recognize your signs of your mental health versus actual spiritual occurrences, as well as learning to navigate when the practices you're doing are making your mental health worse, and being able to take a break when that happens. Some people may end up finding that it is not safe for them to practice witchcraft, magic, or an alternative spirituality as a system or with any mental health condition, but that is not a generalization. Different people are different, and that's not a problem. I will not judge or shame you for that. You are not less than for that. There is no problem with it. You absolutely should be doing what is best and safest for you and your mental health. Sometimes it takes time to figure that out, and that's okay, and you are completely valid in that. To reiterate, this is not an educational channel on the more nitty-gritty DSM-5 points of DID or OSDD at all. This is my personal experience and how it impacts my craft and how I move through my life. I may sometimes get something wrong. I may sometimes say something incorrect. I apologize in advance if and when that happens. If you happen to know the correct thing, please leave a comment and let me know, and I will correct myself. I am not ashamed that I'm a human being that makes mistakes sometimes, so I apologize in advance if I sometimes get things wrong. However, when it comes to my own personal experience, I can't get things wrong, so that is mostly what I'll be talking about. Like I said, I am an OSDD 1B system. I have known for quite a long time. I first realized when I was a teenager, and then I was like, nope, can't do it, this is scary, this is too much, and I pushed it deep down and put it in the vault, locked it up, locked it away, and then spent a good chunk of time in denial. About 3 or 4 years ago, I realized it and have spent the last few years trying to figure things out. It has not always gone well. It has often been difficult and scary and isolating and just fucking hard. Really fucking hard. Luckily, I am one of the few stories of a system who has not lost family over it. At the time of realizing I was a system, I already didn't have much family due to other things, but the few people I did tell reacted very well and were very supportive, and I cannot overstate my gratitude for that. I am so lucky, and I am so deeply sorry for the people who did not have that experience. It really sucks. It took me a very long time to tell my mom. That was one of the hardest things I have done in my life. I was terrified, and very, very, very luckily, she did not call me demon possessed. She did not freak the fuck out on me. She met it with support and understanding and just listened. I have sought therapy for this and am currently seeing a therapist for working through a lot of this stuff. My whole mental health in general, but specifically for being a system and figuring out how to find functional multiplicity and be able to live life like this and have a happy life. Already it is doing wonders, so hell yeah. There are a lot of things that I'm comfortable sharing, and there are a lot that I'm not. Like I said, if you have any questions, you are more than free to ask literally anything as long as you come at it with respect. I'll let you know if I feel comfortable or not, and if not, I will be very polite, and there is no need for you to feel guilt or shame about being curious. I don't want anyone to be in that position. Something I want to highlight is the fact that there will be inconsistency in a lot of different ways because I have very distinct parts with very distinct personalities. We have very differing opinions and values sometimes, so there are likely going to be times that I contradict myself. I understand how that can be very confusing and complicated. You are more than welcome to comment if you are confused, and I will just let you know, yep, that was just a different altar, or I've changed my mind, or whatever the case may be. I just want to say, yeah, there will be contradiction because that's kind of a big part of the whole thing. We're different people. We're sharing a body, but we are very, very distinct. It happens very often that we hold differing opinions, so I'm definitely already noticing that I'm someone different than I was in the beginning of this video. You may be able to tell differences in the way that I speak, the words that I use, or the sound of my voice, and mannerisms, characteristics. A lot of people that know me in person can tell a lot of the time by vibe. We just kind of shift energies very strongly. I don't know if that is going to come across on camera at all, but in person that is something I regularly hear. There will definitely be inconsistency in using I versus we to describe us, also using like me versus us. Again, we're kind of different people with different ideas, thoughts, views, beliefs, and different understandings of the system. There are alters who will say we when they are referring to the system as a whole, and I when they are referring to just themselves. There are alters who will only ever use I or only ever use we for various reasons. There are a lot who just use them interchangeably. It's really something that usually means the same thing. It's just referring to this. Whoever it is, whatever it is this. There are also three main different words that are used to describe the parts in a system, and that is part, alter, and headmate. Again, there will be inconsistency in what word is used depending on who is fronting, because different alters have different preferences in how they refer to us. But they all mean and refer to the same thing, the different parts that make up the one whole of us. To once again clarify, this is not an educational channel on the nitty-gritty details of DID or OSDD, or witchcraft, or mental health, or any of the things. It is my personal experience. It is my UPG in witchcraft, and it is my personal experience in being a system and being mentally ill and neurodivergent, and how all of the different things impact all of the different things, and how everything weaves together to create the spider web that is my existence. And really, I just want to be a part of the effort to destigmatize and normalize this disorder, because it is something that happened to me. I didn't deserve this. I didn't do anything to create this. It happened to me. My brain just did it as a defense mechanism in order to survive. And guess what? It fucking worked. I'm still here. I'm proud and happy to still be alive and to still be here. I just want other systems to be able to find that too. I'm trying to think if there's anything else important that I wanted to say. I don't really think there is. This video is not anything in particular other than just being like, hey, this is a thing. So, hey, this is a thing. In the future, we do plan on making different kinds of videos about being a system in relation to how we practice, like someone said earlier, how we use witchcraft and what kind of spells we do and what kind of magic we do to help us get through our mundane life, and also how it impacts our practice and our life. I also definitely want to share art that we have made related to being a system, and poetry and different things like that. So yeah, there will be all kinds of different things, and this will open the door for us to being able to talk about another side of us. I was literally having an anxiety attack when we first started filming, and now I feel calm, I feel good, I feel confident that this is the right choice. I really hope that whoever it is that sees this video feels seen and held and safe in this space. If you enjoyed hearing me yap about all of this, please give it a like and subscribe if you would like to hear or see more of me talking about my witchcraft, my practice, being a system, my mental health, all of it. I really look forward to hearing any questions or comments that you have. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay crafty and stay kind.